G'day, Steve Morgan here on a Friday. This is Tackle Friday's number, I don't know, 30, 31. Missed it last week because we were busy up at the last two qualifying rounds of the 13 Fishing Bass Pro Series. Hope you enjoyed my live streams and my highlights from those events. If you didn't see them, there are some cutaways here going on of some of the cool live sonar, jerk baiting, crankbaiting, spooning, action we had going on both of those lakes, but for me it was a bit of a time of diminishing returns. First tournament, first day a limit, second day 4 out of 5, third day 3, and the last day at Wivenhoe 2 out of 5. So still got a bit of work to do if I want to be a Carl Jochimson in the bass fishing world, but I really enjoy watching how the fish behave on that live sonar. Check on my YouTube page, you can see in all of my highlights reels some of the cool bass fishing action for the last week. This week has been pretty busy. I had Tommy Wood down earlier in the week, doing a bit of maintenance on mainly on my trailer, on my Bass Cat trailer. I'll be honest about it, the American trailers, they do not take the same amount of care as the Aussie guys, because the Aussie guys put them in salt water all the time. Always find a few open crimps and stuff in there. So Tommy got through, we rewired the whole thing with Aussie LEDs on the back. Got all the spotlights working again, the clearance lights, the brakes, it's all, to be honest, the brakes were always working pretty good. So we're back to 100% for all of the Barra and Grand Final events that we've got coming. But while I had Tommy down, I took the opportunity to get started working on my Alloy Craft 4.5 metre punt. It's dead set. It's a 1.5 metre wide by 4.5 metres long punt, like a rectangle in the water. And it's got all the cool gear on it, but it's got all the cool hand-me-down gear on it. So I've got on it, my back live scope that sits on the Bass Cat can move across and it can fit on the little boat. It's got my old 12-inch Lowrance on there, which superseded when the HDS Pros came out, and I got one of those to review. It uses a lot of stuff that's hand-me-downs, like my Garmin Force 50 came off my Bass Cat when the power pole move went on. It's now on the little boat there. So it's the hand-me-down centre of Fishing Monthly magazines, and it's still not finished, but it's getting pretty close now. So plan to, again, I still plan to loan that out for each of the Bass Electric rounds next year. It's going to have that Mercury Avator 35E sitting on the back, so it'll have some range, it'll have some speed, and it won't have me in it probably. It'll have one of you guys in it. I know some of you have reached out already asking if you can be the person. Yes, you can, for one event. You don't get to borrow it for more than one event. Spread the joy. Let everyone experience that Mercury Avator. Again, on my YouTube channel, if you want to see that motor pushing that punt to 17 kilometres an hour, putting it on the plane, it's sitting there as well. Both of the boats are going to be tuned up for the end of this year. I'm really excited about the Barra events. Fishing Monthly at the moment is all about the Barra events. We're going to get into some of the Barra stuff in a while, but there's a few other things that have turned up. Firstly, you may have seen released at the after show the new Samurai rods, especially the ones with these blanks, the butts on them. Now, Michael Starkey from Frogley's Offshore gave me a big lecture about these, about 20 minutes on why these are so fantastic. And I tell you what, these are really, really light finesse butts on these rods. I've got a couple of sample ones here to try out. One's a 7-footer and one's a 7'4". They both have sort of slightly different guide trains on them. Like one of them, the 7-footer, has actually guides that look a little bit larger than I'm used to on it. The 7'4" has got closer to the mark with what I'm used to. Seemed like very responsive, high modulus blanks, and that 7-footer, this one here, is apparently the biggest one that they sell. The butts are incredibly light to a point where actually without the reel on, they sort of feel a bit unbalanced because the butt is so light. I'm sure when I whack a reel on these and get them on the water, I'll be able to come back to you with some of the results from the new Samurais. So thanks to the guys at Frogley's Offshore for sending those loaners up to have a crack with. There is no doubt that they are a good looking piece of kit. Let's get into some Barra stuff. I've been doing a little bit of practice for Barra fishing. I love my Barra tour events, and all through the winter I've been doing a lot of mulloway fishing, all through the southeast, nighttime live scoping, perspective mode stuff. I'm going to run in the cutaway here a couple of live scope shots I recorded the other night. Just how many fish are cruising around in the open water in some of these rivers. The cutaway that's running here, it's not in a rock bar. It's actually just a sandy bottom bit of river that's got a little bit of a depth change in it. There's one snag on the bank, which isn't very exciting. There's no rock bars there. There's nothing. There's no water outlet pipes. There's nothing that really would say the fish should be there, but a lot of our rivers have just got fish all the way through them. I ran into this spot. This is a new spot that I hadn't fished until a week ago when I took my young fella Finn out for a fish one night, and we just heard mulloway and probably a couple of barra chopping on the surface and headed across to this this one little drop off, and the fish were there. Spent one night where we caught 4 big mulloway and 1 barra, 107 centimetre barra. The pictures of that are here, and that was all on my Wilson Live Target, the Target #1 rod, and the Samaki Reddick lure. I love the Reddicks. It was in that white bait colour, which I love for the barra as well, with that Shimano, the little DC SLX DC on there. This is a really, really light outfit that I fish with 30-pound braid, and I've got the 52-pound Samaki Slim and Strong, I think it's called, that fluorocarbon leader on there, one of the Wilson Fast Hatch clips. And I fished these fish for 3 nights. I got no bites one night. I got nearly 10 bites and landed 5 fish another night, and I got no bites the 3rd night. So typical in southern barra Jew fashion, they bite when they want to bite. Interestingly, one of the nights, I had 4 or 5 outfits there. One of the nights, the only thing they would respond to and follow was this. This is the smaller of the Roman-made swim baits that I fish on Miller rods and a bigger DC. One of the nights they wouldn't eat anything, but they would at least follow that halfway to the boat. That's a really slow, like a suspending, probably swim 6 inches under the water, small little glide bait. They didn't like you chopping it, they just liked you slow rolling it under the surface, and a lot of them would come up and follow it underneath. So barra training is well and truly underway, and we're ready for Mondrian Dam, the first of the Xeric Barra Tour events, next weekend. Probably Tackle Fridays will come from Mondrian next week. Following straight after Mondrian is the Barra Australian Open, which is the Venom Rod sponsored event. That's on a Wonga, which is coming back really, really well. I'll give you a hint. We've been packing these this week. This is the kit bags that every team gets when they're fishing the Barra Australian Open. One of the live mullets. Another one of the live mullets. 100% payback, so you get all of your entry fee back in prize money. Another live mullet, there's 3 live mullets there. 4 live mullets. This is what they eat in a Wonga as well. The big flat shad, so you get one of those big flat shads there, and another of the big flat shads there. So there's half a dozen lures that every team gets just for entering that Barra Australian Open. It's a midweek event, which means it's not going to be crowded on the water. We are in the guts of spring right now, so I think those barra are going to be chomping. And I don't know if you're like me, but you may have seen the 135 centimetre barra that came out of a Wonga earlier this week or late last week. It was a dead set. Absolute giant. So we're getting ready for that. One of the ways I'm getting ready is I think these guys have got it worked out, because every Friday a care package turns up from Rapala. In this case, here are the big 5.5 inch heavy hitters. I've been slaying the dewies on these things in the river, live scoping at night in perspective mode. So they brought out one of each of the colours that are going to go on Barra Tour with us. So, you know, they're all the standard colours. I think they're the same sort of colour range nearly as they had in the bass heavy hitters that I had last time that I showed you. And how good did the bass heavy hitters go? They caught the Australian ABT record, 3.88 kilos, that Pete Maisie caught up at Somerset for those bass events last weekend. Now, next, Matty Fraser was just in. How cool are Matty Fraser's packs for the this is one for Monty, but he's got a pack like this. One of the higher places in the Barra Tour events are going to win one of these packs each time with his new bony brim sized detonators and a big whole range of his Barra strength, Barra durability jig heads. So Matty just dropped them in this afternoon, but he also, one of these fell off the back of the truck, and this is a collection of one of each of his colours of those detonators. Now, the way these work, these have got his those chin nuts that are attached to the chin of them. The chin nuts that come in with this detonator make it suspend. So straight out of the box, it's got the right hooks for Barra on it. It's going to suspend for Barra, and it looks like bony brim size. So we've got all of the colours coming in here that Matty's designed. There's a half a dozen different colours, exactly the same ranges you're going to get in the prize packs. And I will try and use those in the situation when we're jerk baiting Barra in the lakes, you know, on the forward-facing sonar stuff. So thank you for that, Matt. We're going to give them a good go. Hopefully Matt gets up to fish that first event at Mondrian. He slipped up there the other weekend and did pretty well. So see if he can make it up there. He's a brand new sponsor of the Barra Tour this year, and he's given us a bit of gear there to try out. Also, my teammate in Barra Tour, Nicole Smith, she finally went tackle shopping instead of bright stuff shopping. Actually, Nicole, can you bring me the Barra glasses that you got? She didn't spend a whole time tackle shopping. She spent a little bit of time buying bright things as well. But I was pretty impressed when I came in on the Monday morning and there was about half a dozen Redix and a couple of live mullets sitting on the desk saying, I've got some gear for Barra Tour. So I was pretty impressed with that. She'd been and she'd raided her local BCF for all the stuff. Now, we got the fancy shoes from last week. This is what every Barra team is going to need. They're going to need the Barra. I can actually see through that. I can see that. Unfortunately, it can't take enough numbers which say, piss off, this is my spot, because that would be something I would love to have scrolling across the glasses. Can you do anything clever on that, like animate it, Nicole? TF, give us a TF, Tackle Fridays, and make it do something fancy. And if you can see us on the water with glowing feet and now glowing faces, you probably know that it's a Fishing Monthly boat. Tommy Wood fixed up all of my LEDs on the side of the boat, so I've got half a dozen steady lights there. When you see those light up, it means we're going to be trying to net something. And whatever that message is, probably going to make me look stupid here, Nicole.
Yeah, it says TF.
TF. Tackle Fridays. So there you go. If you're cool on the Barra Tour, you're probably going to have some. Actually, if you're cool on the Barra Tour, you're probably not going to have these. Thanks, Nicole. Make sure they're charged. We have a running joke in the office that the shoes and the glasses will be charged, but the trolling motor will be flat and there'll be no fuel in the boat. So see how it goes. Last thing for Tackle Fridays today is this hat. Wilsons are doing their incentive again, where if you catch a metre barra and you have a photo of it wearing this Wilson hat, this is the colour for this year, then you win, is it $500, Nicole? $500 worth of Wilson gear. And if it's in the Wilson sponsored event, which I think is the Kinchin event, that ups it to $1,000 worth of gear. So I think they had over 20 people claim that prize last year. Everyone gets issued one of these hats. These are the hats you're going to get, and you just got to be wearing it with a nice photo of your meadery, and you can claim that prize from Wilson. So sponsors going all out this year to have some fantastic kit. Remember, we've got Carl coming over, we've got Gussie coming over, we've got Jacob Wheeler and his cameraman coming over. Barra Tour is limited to 50 teams, and that includes those teams. So I know Mondrian isn't fully subscribed yet. We've only got just under 30 teams, I think, at the moment. But that 4-event tour up at November, up at Mackay, I think it's going to be the big one. If you're thinking of going, make sure you get your entry in. I think that's all it for me this week. It's Friday afternoon, and this was Tackle Fridays.